Hey FlossTube!
Hello FlossTube!
This is episode 3.5, so this is not one of our typical FlossTube episodes. This is going to be an in-between episode, and I thought for this episode and the next 0.5 episode, we would actually do a series on stitching retreats. There's been a lot of buzz in the community about stitching retreats. I think a lot of people are taking an interest in going, and I thought this would just be fun to talk a little bit about stitching retreats. So for this episode, I thought we would talk about a stitching retreat to-do list, and then in episode 4.5 we would do a stitching retreat packing list. This particular episode, I'm not going to show anything. I do have a to-do list that I am looking at Thomas's phone here to read off to you, and I'm going to link this to-do list down below so that you can see the to-do list and maybe print it out and check items off your list as you do them. And then in the next episode, I plan to show more things about what I plan to pack for our retreat. So we've been to one retreat already, which was in June, and we're about to go to another retreat in October. So I feel like this is a good time to start talking about all this stuff. So without further ado, the stitching retreat to-do list that I've kind of put together, and please feel free to comment below and let me know about any other things that you think should have been added to the to-do list. But these are the 20 items that I came up with, and I had Mom read, and she liked them, so this is where we're going to start, and then I can update this, the Google version of this to-do list as you guys comment and say, you know, did you think about this? So, alright, number one is obviously pick the retreat you want to attend. There are a lot of retreats out there, and part of the reason we chose the retreats that we did is location. We wanted to be able to drive to our retreats. I don't enjoy flying on airplanes, so I try to avoid them at all costs. And so I want to drive to my location. I want to be within driving distance. Partly also is the timing of the retreat. I picked our first retreat over the summer because I knew I'd have the time off. The one in October, I just have to ask for one day off because it's in Asheville, which is actually fairly close to us, a couple hours away. So I could just take Friday off. As a teacher, we only get 3 days off a year. So besides being sick is different, but for personal leave, we get 3 days off a year. So I try to be very careful about how I use my leave. And so Asheville was a great one because I could just take Friday off, and we could drive up Thursday night to be there in time for Friday.
Yep.
And then the third reason I choose a retreat is because of who is at the retreat. You know, who's hosting. Stitch Etc. hosted our first one, and Annabella's is hosting our next one. And then I also choose it because of who the designer is going to be in. Both of these times it's Stitching with the Housewives, because obviously I really love their patterns, and next year or even years in the future I'm looking forward to trying out a couple of other people, like Primrose Cottage had a retreat. I don't think I'm going to be able to go because I think it's in January and I'd have to take more time off, but and there's, I believe it's in Florida too, so maybe not next year but the year after that I could go to Primrose Cottage.
You always say you want stuff in January, that's the thing.
Yeah. so those are the three things that I think about when choosing a retreat. So that's item number one. Choose which retreat you would like to attend. Then item number two is book the retreat, which is not as easy as you would think. Both retreats, we have had to figure out what day and time the registration opens, and then it's Mom and I on our phones going refresh at noon on whatever day.
Sometimes in the middle of nowhere, where we pull up to the side of the road. It's like, we have some signal. Stop.
It was Annabella's.
Yes, I know it was Annabella's.
It was Annabella's retreat that we were going to the Ren Fair, which is in Fairburn, Georgia, in the middle of nowhere. We had
zero signal.
No signal out there, and we had to leave the Ren Fair, Renaissance Festival, and head down the road to find some signal so that I could refresh. That was super fun.
I think it was fun. Yeah, I remember it being fun.
So that is definitely an item. Number 2 is booking your retreat, because it's
figure out how to book it, basically.
Yes, figure out what the time is, get it done. Oftentimes it happens in the middle of a day, and it's not easy to book, but we got both of those done. So. All right, number 3, as soon as you book your retreat, book your hotel. I cannot stress this enough. Do not wait to book your hotel.
The prices don't get better magically. The rooms just disappear.
Yes. That if you can get the hotel that the retreat is at, trust me, you will enjoy it so much more. It's so much more enjoyable to walk down to the stitching retreat in pajama pants and slippers versus if you have to drive to the retreat from a local hotel. It's okay. Nothing's wrong with that, but it's not quite as fun as being in the space for the retreat.
Also, you'll find yourself cheating yourself at a time because you're like, well, I still need to drive. I still want to be awake enough to drive instead of just wander onto the elevator and press 4.
Exactly. I think for Annabella's retreat, we are not in the hotel of the retreat. I think we're across the street. So I can see, because I don't want to walk in the dark alone, not staying up at the retreat as long. So definitely, if you can, book your hotel as soon as you know you're going to this retreat, because you won't be sad you booked early, but you might be sad if you book late.
Yes.
So that is number 3. And then number 4 is, if you need to, book your flight. Same thing. You don't want to be stuck having to have like layovers because you have connecting flights and such. It's better, if you can, to book a flight directly there. Obviously it depends on where the retreat is at and such, but that is all my flying advice, because to be honest, I haven't flown since I was in high school.
I've flown more recently. I would say definitely book a flight to there if you can.
Yeah, I would think, based on what I've seen other people, you would not really want to have connecting flights.
No. Unless, someplace like Asheville that does have a local airport, you'll have to connect to like Nashville or something like that. But
even if you're not booking a flight, you might want to go ahead and consider, how are you going to drive there? When are you going to drive there? How much is going to cost in gas? Are you going to go with anyone? Are you going to drive up the day before? Are you going to stay a day later? Take all that into consideration. Is figure out your travel and book it. So, and if you are going to fly, once you get there, are you going to take Ubers to get there? Are you going to get a taxi? Are you going to have someone pick you up at the airport? Plan all that out after you've booked your hotel. That's for sure. Number 5 is to find out all the information you can about the retreat. So both retreats that I'm attending had Facebook groups that just the attendees could be a part of. It was a private group. I can't say enough, stalk those. Watch them, because people will post things that you might be interested in. Your host will post things, little sneak peeks and reminders and such. So join the Facebook groups and stalk them. Make sure to watch them, because personally it's hard for that particular feed to pop up in my Facebook. So I actually had to go to the Facebook page and watch it pretty frequently to make sure that I'm getting all of the latest information. Also, make sure to watch your emails, because if anything that your site host needs you to know, they're going to email you. So watch your emails. And then one thing a lot of people wouldn't consider is watch your host's floss tubes. Both Stitch Etc. and Annabella have floss tubes, and they will talk about the upcoming retreat in their floss tubes. So I highly suggest doing all three of those, Facebook, email, and floss tubes, to get all of the information about your retreat, because you don't want to miss out on something, and on top of it, it helps you get excited about your retreat coming up. So learn all of the information. And then research the surrounding area of your retreat. You're going to want to know how to get to your hotel, what parking's going to be like. Are you going to have to pay for parking? And are, local businesses available to you? Will you be able to run across the street to a Walmart in case you need something? Research the area. Figure out food. I understand this next retreat, food's going to be kind of harder to come by.
It's a little further out.
I get the feeling we're kind of in a park-like area. I may be totally wrong, but
well, there's just parking lots of the eye can see.
It's like a park, and then you're gonna have to really travel far out to get to food. So
we'll see. We haven't done that part yet. We haven't researched that part
I
yet.
have a little bit. So research the area and make sure you're aware of, if you're going to need Starbucks, where the Starbucks is. If you're going to need lunches, dinners, breakfasts, where can you go for those items? So plan that out. That would be my next. That is number 6, is research the area. And then number 7 is interact with people. Message on Facebook. Say, hey, I'm so excited for this retreat. Anybody got any advice? Or if you have posts that are showing up on your Facebook from the retreat, interact with those people. Comment, reply back, ask questions.
Make new friends.
Yeah, if you notice somebody on Instagram, somebody on Facebook, somebody on YouTube who said, I'm going to this retreat, and it happens to be the same one you are, reach out to them and tell them, I'm going to this retreat. I've already had 2 people who watch our floss tube who have reached out and said they're going to see us at Asheville. And so I'm super excited that you reached out. Thank you. And I highly advise that if you hear of people going to your retreat, reach out, because it's just really neat to get to know people before you go and learn who they are. So interact. Number 8, start putting aside money. The retreats are not cheap. You pay several $100s to attend just the retreat, and then you're going to spend several hundred more to book the hotel, maybe book your flight, maybe pay for gas, you're going to pay for food. And then a lot of these retreats have vendors who are going to bring fun items for you to purchase at the retreat. Some of the vendors even say that you can pre-purchase things that they'll have ready for you at the retreats. Just trust me, set money aside. You are not going to be sad that you did. And I'm not saying like $20. I mean like a couple $100. Let's just accept the fact that money will be spent there, and it'll be okay. It'll be fun, especially
when they bring their best stuff sometimes.
And a lot of these are stores.
Yeah.
So you're going to maybe visit their stores, or they're going to bring their merchandise to sell to you. And I don't have an LNS, so my mom and I spend hundreds of dollars to bring home with us, because we just don't get to go to an LNS all the time. So go ahead and set aside that money and just accept what is. You will not be sad. Then after all of that, you can kind of relax a little, because a lot of these get booked 6 months out. We booked this coming up retreat in April. So how many months is that?
4 to 10, so 6 months. Yeah,
6 months out. So from January to June, 6 months out. So after the initial learning of the retreat, you will be sitting around just waiting for it to come. But about 6 to 8 weeks before the retreat, you will be shipped your retreat piece, if you have a designer. And the idea is that you stitch it up to have it ready for when you go to the retreat. So that is my next item, is stitch your retreat piece. I will admit not everybody will get that retreat piece done prior to going to the retreat. Some Some people...
Well, you're not supposed to do it at the retreat?
Yeah, well, some people will. And some people will, even though you've got the finishing piece, will say, I'm taking the finishing piece home and I'll just finish it later. But I would bet money that the majority of the people who take their stuff home never end up finishing it. And it's just so much more fun to like have that experience where you've got the completed piece, you've brought it with, you've ironed it, and you're ready to finish the whole thing there. Like, trust me, do that. You won't be sad that you got it done, but a lot of you are going to be sad if you don't get it done. You'll be missing out. So stitch the retreat piece. Then where am I at here? 10.
Yep.
Number 10 is, if you're planning to do the smalls exchange, go ahead and stitch that small item. And this you could have done ahead of time before your retreat piece, but you can stitch that small, fully finish it, and go ahead and wrap it the way they tell you to wrap it. I did the smalls exchange at the last retreat, and it was just a really fun special experience because you get to really meet another stitcher that way. So I highly recommend doing the smalls exchange, but go ahead and get that done, and don't be trying to stitch that and fully finish that at the retreat. Like, you either are going to do it or you're not. So get it done before you go.
Do they often do smalls on the first night or the second night or something? Or?
For us, it was the last night.
It was the last night, okay.
But still.
It's a lot to have to do.
That's a lot. I would rather finish my retreat piece at the retreat than try and put together a smalls. Like, that's just a lot. So don't wait. Go ahead and get that done. I haven't done mine yet for this retreat. It's on the to-do list. That's why I'm sharing this to-do list with you guys, so that you can be better than me. Okay, so this is totally optional, but one thing you might want to consider is putting together Tablemate Gifts. At the last retreat, our Tablemates exchanged gifts with us, so we had items for them and they had items for us. And if that is something you are interested in, go ahead and get that done. I am putting together some Tablemate gifts that are fall themed, and I go ahead and plan on 8. Now at the last retreat I only had 6 Tablemates, so I didn't end up using all my gifts, but if you plan for 8 to 10, then you know that you'll cover everybody. Again, totally optional, you don't have to, but it's kind of fun to surprise your Tablemates with a small gift. And
it's more than number 7, interact.
Or some people even go above that and get a small little token of an item for everybody at the retreat. That will take knowing how many people there are. Well, I'll be honest, I purchased some stickers that I am going to use in a special way for my Tablemates, but I did have way more stickers than I'm ever going to use. So I was thinking that I could go around at this next retreat and give everybody just a fall sticker, because they're all fall themed and they're cute. They're kind of farmhousey looking stickers, so they match. Nice. So I thought maybe I could cut them up and give everybody a sticker, because I have plenty of them. So that's an idea. Or I know at our last retreat, a lot of people put together little needle minders for everybody, or they put little pins together for everybody. And if you do that, consider putting together a little business card with either your Instagram or your Facebook or your YouTube, so that people can know who gave them the gift and they can check your social media out. That's a great way to do that. And in that same idea, again, completely optional with the gifts, but you might want to consider getting a gift for the designer and or the site host, just to thank them for all the work they've done to put this together. I know we did that, and they were our site host and our designers were super appreciative of it. It's totally optional, you don't have to, but it's something you might want to consider because it's super nice. And I know they appreciate it. So that is the Tablemate Gifts is item number 11, and then host gift, site designer gift is number 12. All right, number 13. We're getting closer to the weekend now. Plan your weekend. What time are you leaving here? Ooh, leaving your house. What time are you planning to get there? What time are you planning to leave there? Who's going to watch your house? Who's going to watch your cats? Who's going to watch your dogs? Who's going to watch your kids? Who's going to watch your husband? Plan your weekend, get an idea as to which places you're going to go out for dinner and things like that. Plan your outfits. I would say the majority of people try to wear some stitchy items. Not everybody, but you might want a couple of t-shirts that say something about cross stitch. If you don't have any, go on Amazon. There's lots on there. So
or Etsy or whatever.
Plan your outfits. Plan how many projects you're going to take. Yeah. And I think actually that's another thing. So I'm not going to go into that yet, but plan your weekend. Okay. And then the next one, number 14, is plan your stitchy setup at the retreat. So I think, not everybody will. They will show up. They will shove their stuff on the table. They will have a mess that will be great. But I think you will enjoy your experience more if you kind of plan how you're going to set your space up when you're at the retreat, because you do have to share this large table with 8 people, and you really only get a pie section of space. So it really helps to figure out where you're going to put your light, where are you going to put your pattern to look at, how are you going to stitch. I know it was kind of hard for me to figure out how to stitch at a chair when I'm used to stitching on the couch, so I had to practice that.
Do you have a chair set up that you bring with you? That kind of thing too.
Sure.
I'm sure there's special chairs that people bring.
No, I don't think anybody did.
No.
But they bring their own lights.
Pads.
Yeah, they bring chair
pads.
So that might be something you want to think about. As you might want to think about where you're going to bring snacks. Now, make sure snacks are allowed in the venue. I think this venue we're going to, snacks are not allowed. But
oh, really?
Yeah. But the last one, we could bring snacks. Figure out where you're going to set that up. Your water bottle. You got to be comfortable, Are you going to have a cell phone charger? How are you going to set that up? Can it charge with your light? Consider all that. So definitely figure out your stitchy space. It's totally worth it. And then number 15, I said that actually, is plan out your outfits. So stitchy shirts. Are you going to wear comfy pants? Are you going to wear jeans the whole time? Are you going to dress to the nines? Good for you. I'm not that kind of person. I wear yoga pants and I wear fun stitching t-shirts. And bring a jacket, even in the middle of summer, because you never know if that stitching space is going to be chilly. I think ours was. It was chilly.
Yours was
on
very,
purpose.
very chilly on purpose.
So,
granted, it was 100 degrees outside, but it was like
60
or something like that in there. So huge difference.
Bring a jacket. You just never know. Number 16 is consider bringing no more projects than there are days in the retreat. What I mean by this is if you have a 3-day retreat, consider bringing no more than 3 projects.
Did you bring more than 3 last time?
Yeah.
And
you're never going to stitch that many. Now, of course, your thought is, well, I want choices. But
you're going to get extra choices by just being there.
Well, that's the thing. I ended up spending a lot of the last retreat stitching on a piece they gave us as soon as we got there. So that was in addition to all the pieces I brought with. And then I highly suggest bringing your floss, at least a good chunk of it, and bringing some extra fabric, because knowing you, if there's a free table or you're going to purchase some items from the vendors, you might get really, really excited about a brand new pattern you purchase when you're there. Mom just texted me that she's done with her retreat piece. I am not. I'm working on it.
Oh, there's the image too.
Yeah. Good job, Mom. So yeah, you might want to start that piece that you purchased at the retreat. So bring some extra fabric, bring your floss, bring some extra needles, bring scissors, and plan out no more than 3 whips. Or if it's a 5-day weekend, 5 webs. Just 1 per day. That's all you need. You're probably not going to get to that much. All right. And then our cats are trying to get out. Sorry. Number 17 is pack for the weekend. And like I said, in the video, 2 videos from now, I will talk to you about my packing list. I actually tried going out on YouTube and trying to find people who had decent packing list ideas for stitching retreats. And I found 1 or 2 videos, but they weren't my favorite. So I would like to do a video for you guys that is all about what I'm going to pack for my stitching retreat. And I highly recommend other floss tubers to also do the same video, you know, talk about what you would pack for your stitching retreat so we can all get ideas from each other. But yes, that obviously pack for your weekend. And then when you're packing for your weekend, number 18 is to leave extra room in your suitcase. Do not fill it to the brim because you're gonna bring more things home from that retreat. They're gonna give you freebies, you're gonna have a smalls exchange, you're gonna buy stuff. Leave some room in the suitcase, or at the very least bring those reusable shopping bags, so that you have a tote to fill with all of your stitchy goodness from the retreat.
And also that way you can keep more of the stuff from the retreat all in one place. That way when you come home and you're exhausted and you're unpacking, you don't just go and just throw it off to the side and look at it again. Okay. Keep it all in one place. That way you can go, now I can look through it again.
Yeah, it's super fun to do that when you're sad, but you get home and you're like, oh yeah, all the fun things I bought or brought home. And then number 19, and this is kind of something to do at the retreat, is to take lots and lots of pictures and maybe even video of your experience at the retreat. And then when you finally do get home, go on the Instagrams and the Facebooks and the YouTubes and show off your experience, because we all want to vicariously live through you. So, and then that's number 20. That was my last one, is to share your experience. So take photos, get contact information from your peoples. I actually have one of my table mates from the last retreat that I kind of now have her as a pen pal, and on Facebook Messenger we message each other every once in a while and just catch up on how each of us are doing, because it's really fun. I don't have a lot of stitchy friends. I kind of have my husband, and y'all saw my mom, but besides that I don't have a lot of stitchy friends in the area, so it's really nice to have other people on the interwebs to talk to about stitchy things. So yeah. Anything that I missed?
Well, down in the comments will be things that people will have added.
That is true. If you think of something that I have missed, please add it below in the comments. And this video will be up for as long as time. So even if you're watching this video 2 years after it was posted,
7 years after.
Still put to-do list items that you have ideas for in the comments, and I will try my best. I can't promise anything 7 years from now, but I will try my best to continue to update the to-do list on the Google for everybody to read through. And if you are a person watching this, go down and look at the comments and see if anybody added anything worth noting to add to your personal to-do list. So I hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you next week with episode number 4, an official one, and I stitched more this week, so hopefully I have a few more items to show you. So, all right, have a good night.
Bye-bye.